innocent Jewish reporter was charged for pro-Gaza vandalism. Not him. Put it up full mass. Hell of a story, a lot of twists and turns. So per the AP, a 31-year-old Samuel Seligson, a New York City journalist and an independent videographer, was arrested on Tuesday on charges that he accompanied a group of pro-Palestinian protesters as they hurled red paint at the homes of top leaders at the Brooklyn Museum June 12th. So Samuel faces felony hate crime charges. Samuel was arraigned Tuesday afternoon in Brooklyn on 8 counts of criminal mischief, 4 of which were classified as a hate crime, and then he was released under supervision. So the criminal complaint written by a police detective states that Samuel traveled with the group of protesters as they defaced 2 apartments belonging to the museum's director and president. All right. So last week, police arrested a 28-year-old suspect who was accused of driving the car used by the group. Authorities are still seeking for other people involved. The activists are accused of spray painting doors and sidewalk with messages that accuse the 2 leaders of supporting genocide. The vandalism is also targeted for homes belonging to members of the Brooklyn Museum's board, generating allegations of anti-Semitism and condemnations from across the political spectrum. According to court papers, the activists wore face masks and dark clothing as they spray painted slogans on the board members' homes. A banner hung at the home of the museum's Jewish president called her a, quote, white supremacist Zionist, end quote. They also hung other banners featuring an inverted red triangle that authorities say is a symbol used by Hamas to identify Israeli military targets. Samuel's attorney, Lena Whitty, said he was acting in his capacity as a credentialed member of the media, describing the hate crime charges as an appalling overreach by police and prosecutors. He said police had twice raided his Brooklyn home before he turned himself in early Tuesday. The attorney said in an email, quote, Samuel is being charged for alleged behavior that is protected by the First Amendment and consistent with his job as a credentialed member of the press. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. What is even more concerning, however, is that this member of the press is being charged with a hate crime, end quote. There's more. While the complaint described Samuel as a participant in the crime, a law enforcement official said he was not directly involved in the spray painting of property or property damage. The official spoke to the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the ongoing investigation. The arrest has drawn condemnations from press freedom groups while raising questions about the rights of a journalist to document illegal activity. Samuel, who is Jewish, is a fixture at New York City protests and has licensed and sold footage to mainstream outlets, including Reuters and ABC News. Robert Balin, an attorney who has defended photojournalists' arrest by the NYPD, told the AP, quote, this is an extremely serious charge against a journalist. If he was not a participant in these events, this could be a brazen violation of the right of the press to gather news. In order to prove a hate crime charge, prosecutors would have to show Samuel participated and was targeting the directors because of their religion, race, or other personal characteristics. Samuel was previously arrested in May at a separate pro-Gaza demonstration. He told the U.S. Press Freedom Tracker he was live streaming the demonstration as police made arrests and identified him as a journalist. A spokesperson for the Brooklyn DA said that case has been closed and that case has been sealed. This is disturbing, obviously. Now, if you remember, these dynamics are not, let's say, new. They're not new at all. This was happening in the 60s during protests. They decided to mix people up. We just reported on this madness on college campuses where they were arresting not only journalists, they also were arresting professors, tenured professors at their job. You cannot trespass when you're at work, but they didn't care. They rounded everybody up. Now you have an individual who has a particular access doing the same thing. And for those who may critique or criticize, remember HBO made a whole damn series about following prostitutes. Remember that? That was illegal too. You've had these series and these shows doing all of these documentaries of illegal activity for many, many decades in this country. Why? Because freedom of the press, freedom to collect news. As long as you're not engaged in the illegal activity, you're not providing the weapons or the drugs, you're not a catalyst, you cannot be part of the conspiracy. That is the way the law works. And that is the way journalism works in this country. At least it used to. Yasmin, thoughts here.
This story is also convoluted, but it's strangely reflective of how convoluted the narrative around this whole situation in Gaza has become. We now have Jewish people being accused of being anti-Semitic, which makes no sense. We have people saying genocide is bad and we wish it would stop. And those people are said to be hateful and un-American and again, anti-Semitic. We have politicians tiptoeing around what's actually happening over there, afraid to say what needs to be said because they might lose donors, or like what just happened with Cori Bush, they might lose their political positions. And now we have journalists who really are unable to do their jobs by reporting what's going on because, God forbid, now they might be accused of hate crimes, not just vandalism, but hate crimes for being there and reporting it and reporting on what's actually happening. And it does call into question a lot of concerns surrounding freedom of press. Do we even have that anymore? And now we live in an era where social media is so dominant. AI has become more dominant. There are deep fakes, things that people cannot distinguish from real and fake. And it's becoming a concern because the people who are actually on the ground trying to report it and get actual live footage, they're being incriminated now. So it really is, it feels like we've lost the plot. I don't know where we're headed with all of this, but we're in a major presidential election right now. That narrative is really going to be at the forefront of what happens in November, and everybody involved really needs to stay on top of their game and say what needs to be said. The American people are not stupid. We can see what's happening. We know what's happening, and the American people have spoken. We know how we feel about it as a people, and Washington needs to figure it out.